Lesson 13 is about multiple symbols of inclusion. Often we encounter expressions such as this: -3, brackets, parentheses, an addition within the parentheses, close the parentheses, -3, close the brackets, -2. This is an expression where symbols of inclusion are within other symbols of inclusion. We simplify these expressions by beginning with the innermost symbol of inclusion and working our way out. So our innermost is -2 minus 4. We add those together, and it's -6. Now our innermost symbol of inclusion is the brackets. -6 plus -3 is -9. Now we have to multiply first before we add or subtract. -3 times -9 is +27, and 27 minus 2 gives us 25. Okay, we want to do this now, and this problem has two parentheses within brackets and braces. And I'm going to get my pen going. There we go. Okay, I'm going to rewrite everything up until the symbol of inclusion with which I want to work, the innermost one. That's -3 minus 2. That gives us a -5, and it's good to always keep it in parentheses. My next innermost is -7 plus 4. That equals -3. Close the brackets, close the braces, and rewrite the 2. Okay, 4, now I'm going to rewrite that again. I'm going to rewrite the 2. There's no sign in between these two parentheses. There was none here either. So that means that within this bracket, I have to multiply. -5 times -3 is +15. And close my brace and -2. Now I'm working within the brace. There's no sign between the 2 and the bracket. There was none here either. We're going to multiply that 2 times the 15 then, and that gives us 30 within the brace. And we rewrite our -2. And again, no symbol, plus, minus, times, or division in between these two, the 4 and the 30. So we just multiply, and we get 120 minus 2, that's 118. Okay, here, remember when I told you that a bar was sometimes a symbol of inclusion, and it is here. We do the numerator, and then we do the denominator, and then we divide. So -3, rewrite everything. It's always to your advantage to do that. You become much more accurate if you do. And within the parentheses, we add the -2 and the -30, and that's -32. Now, we have a -2 here, and that's it. We're going to write this down. I'm going to do my symbol of inclusion first. 4 minus 2 is 2. Now I'm going back to the numerator. Inside the braces and the brackets here is a -32. There's no sign between these two brackets. That means I'm going to multiply -32 by -2. I'm going to have then -3. -32 times 2. I'm going to drop the parentheses and the brackets because I know I had to multiply. Symbols of inclusion are as simplified as they could be. The denominator, I'm going to multiply -3 times 2 and get -6. I'm going to multiply this by -3. That's going to give me 12, carry a 1, -192. And -6. This is a negative divided by a negative. -6 into 19 goes 3 times, carry a 1, and into 12 twice, and my final answer then is 32. positive 32. In lesson 11, we learned problems like these, and you can't see the time sign there, but it's there. 4 times 3 plus 2. The multiplication should be done first, and then the addition. So we did 4 times 3, got 12. If we add it to 2, we'd have 14. We did not discuss division because if symbols of inclusion are properly used, the order in which the division is to be performed is obvious. Okay, so here we have 4 times 3 plus 2. That equals 14. Negative 7 plus 5 is negative 2. Now this means 14 divided by negative 2, and that equals negative 7. If the following problem is encountered, the notation clearly indicates that 14 should be divided only by 2, not anything else, just the 14. So we have 4 plus 14 divided by 2 is 7, minus 3 times 6 is 18. We add in order from left to right. 4 plus 7 is 11, minus 18 is negative 7. Okay, for this problem, we have a multiplication followed by a division and a minus sign and another multiplication. We perform these operations in order from left to right. Multiplication and division and algebraic addition, always in order from left to right. Okay, I need my little thing. Okay, so here we do 6 plus. We multiply 3 times 6, and we rewrite everything else. Divided by 2 minus 6 times 2. Next step, do our division. 6 plus gets rewritten. 18 divided by 2 is 9, minus 6 times 2. And now 6 plus 9 minus 12. 15 minus 12 is 3. Okay, and everything is finished. This one, we have a multiplication, another multiplication, and then we'll go back and do our division. But first, we're going to simplify our multiplications in order from left to right. 18, 3 times 6, 6 times 2 is 12. 18 divided by 2 is 9, and again we have 15 minus 12, which equals 3. Okay, I hope you're all seeing how this is done. Now, whenever we have products of signed numbers, positive 2 is positive 2. The opposite of 2 is negative 2. The opposite of 2 is positive 2. And the opposite of the opposite of the opposite of 2 is a negative 2. 4 negatives are going to give us a positive, so it alternates back and forth. Whenever we have an odd number of negatives, like negative, 1 negative, and 3 negatives, our answers are always a negative. When we have an even number of negatives, 2 and 4, our answer is positive. This holds true for multiplication as well. So the opposite of 2 is negative 2. But negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. 2 negatives in the multiplication make it a 4. 1, 2, 3 negatives in the multiplication make it a negative 8. 1, 2, 3, 4 negatives, that's positive. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 is 16. And 5 negatives make it a negative. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 is negative 32. The product of an even number of negative real numbers is a positive real number, just like it is here and here. And the product of an odd number of negative real numbers is a negative real number. 5 negatives gave us negative 32. 3 negatives gave us negative 8. Okay, in this example, we're supposed to determine the signs of the following products and give us the reason. Do not multiply. Do not do it out. I have 2 negatives in this first example. We have 2 negatives, so my answer is going to be a negative. if I were to multiply that out, it would be a negative product. All positives here. Whenever you multiply all positives, the answer is positive. Negative, negative, negative. 3 negatives, that's an odd number, therefore our product is negative. Negative, negative, 2. That's 2 negatives, 3 negatives, 4 negatives, 5 negatives. This is also negative. This one is tricky because of this plus sign right here. Okay? We have 2 products. This is the first product. This is the second. So 2 products, one here and one here. 1, 2, 3 negatives is a negative. I'm going to rewrite this plus sign. And the second product is also negative. Well, I know if I add 2 negatives, my answer is negative. So that is also a negative. Okay, we're going to do these practice exercises now, so take them down in your notes. 3, 2. Here's my innermost symbol of inclusion, and we add algebraically -3 plus -4, and we get -7. We add these 2 next, that's -10 minus 4, rewrite the bracket, rewrite the brace. Now we have to work within the brackets. There is no sign between these 2 parentheses, here or here. That means multiply. So we have -7 times 10, and that's 70, minus 4, and close the brackets. 3 times 2, I do this over again. 70 minus 4 is 66. Now, there are no signs between the 2 and the 66. I'm going to multiply. And that is 132. And when I multiply 3 times 132, I get an answer of 396. Okay, now we're going to do this one. We're going to work in the numerator and then in the denominator. So I'm going to rewrite my -3, my brace, my bracket. Here's my innermost symbol of inclusion, and that in the parentheses is -17. Close my brace. Okay, now 2, I'll work in the symbol of inclusion. 4 minus 7 is -3. Now I'm going to go back to the numerator, and I'm going to work inside the brackets. That's the innermost now. So I'm going to have -3, rewrite my brace. 3 times -17 is -51. Oops, I did that too soon. I'm going to take this away and dump it in the trash over here. Okay. Okay. So -5, close the brace, and -6 in the denominator. These 2 numbers add up to -56. We have an algebraic addition here. The product of these 2 is -51. We add it to -5, and we get -56. And we're going to divide by -6. It's going to be positive, this product, because we have 2 negatives. We're going to have -3 times -56. That's going to give us positive 168. Dividing that by -6, we get -2, carry a 4, and 8. And that's our final answer. Here, 1, 2, 3, 4 negatives. That's a positive product. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 3 is 12. 12 times 3 is 36. And it's a positive 36. Okay. This is an easy one. 1, 2, 3, 4 negatives. That makes it a positive 2. And it says Following product, is it a positive number or a negative number? Do not multiply, give the reason. Well, that means we have to count our negatives. So we have negative 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, odd number, and that is a negative product. And this concludes lesson 13.